If you're a real estate agent who is actively outbound prospecting or wants to start, you know how important it is to track your numbers. Last year, I was able to do over 500,000 in GCI simply because I tracked every single input. And so I knew how many calls I was making, I knew how many appointments I was setting, signing, listing, and selling. And so the problem was I got really tired of super expensive software or software that was tied to another coaching program, spreadsheets that are just super clunky, Excel stuff that just looks like garbage. And so I essentially accidentally created my own outbound tracking software. It's called AscendR. And so today, what I want to do is just give you a full overview. If you're in that same boat as I was, this could be a great solution for you. And so let's go ahead and jump into it so you can see if it will be a good fit for your business. And so the first thing that you're going to notice in AscendR is the business planner. This is going to open right when you start the app. And so you're going to put in your goals, your annual take-home goal, how much you want to make, and the amount of prospecting days per week that you commit to. And so for me, I'd like to make 400,000 and I want to commit to prospecting 3 days per week. Then you're going to go to custom plan. You're going to put in what taxes you want to take out. And so that's could be around 25%. For me personally, I like to keep it at 0 just because I already know kind of where I'm at for taxes, but you can definitely put in your tax rate. You want to put in your commission model. Do you have a percentage split? Are you on a team? Do you have an annual cap? And what is that cap? And then your split. What's the average purchase price in your market that you're selling right now? You're going to put in your average commission rate. What are you normally getting for listings? And then what is your average contacts per hour? So you may not know this, but if you just put 7, it's going to be right around average. Then you're going to go through your sales skills. Now, this will fill in with the generic conversion rates. If you don't know your conversion rates, if you have been tracking on a different software, you can just plug in your conversion rates right here, and then it's going to calculate your plan. And so for me, my 2026 blueprint, I have a daily target of 12 contacts per day, about 2 hours of prospecting during that time, set 1 appointment per week, sign 3 listings a month, and sell 22 homes per year to hit that GCI goal. I just hit accept and start climbing, and then it's going to bring me to the dashboard. And so what you'll see on this dashboard is a number of things. The first thing that I love is the streak calculator. And so we tried losing weight. Well, I shouldn't say we tried. I lost about 40 pounds last year. And we used an app that had this calendar up top, and it allowed you to essentially count calories, and it would give you points and streaks. And so you could follow along to make sure that you're doing this every day. And it was super helpful mentally to be able to follow along. So I wanted to create this streak calculator. And you'll see a couple things here. And so you'll see that there's different bonuses based on the amount of streaks that you have, because we gamified the entire process. You'll also see that there's these things called camp days. Now, going along with the mountain climbing theme, essentially a camp day is a day of rest. And so because I said I was going to prospect for 3 days a week, right, that gives me 4 camp days. Now, this protects your streak. And so what I do is I prospect Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll put in these camp days on the days that I'm not prospecting. Now, this is really great because if you watch some of my other videos, I'm a big proponent of realtors taking a break and taking a rest, but still being rewarded for continuing the streak. And so right below that, you have a global lifetime XP bar where you're going to be able to level up. And essentially, the goal here is to gamify the process of prospecting, to make it fun, to make it addicting, to make it something that you're looking forward to doing and logging your activity in. And so right now I am a climber. The next would be pro agent. Right below that, you have the trailhead. And so you're going to see what is in your pipeline, and I'll show you the pipeline tab later. But this is the amount of GCI right now that's in my pipeline that I've got loaded in AscendR. And then you're going to see your closed GCI here for year to date. And then right below that, you're going to see your current annual pace. Now, this takes 15 days to calibrate of actually logging your activity. And then it's a 365-day projection based on your daily active velocity. All right. And so what is your daily active velocity? It's your contacts per day times your GCI per contact. All right. And so it does some math on the behind the scenes. Now it's red. It's telling me I'm falling behind. So I need to start picking up my prospecting. But as you begin to log, as your conversion rates get more accurate and you update those, your annual pace is going to continue to become more and more accurate, so you'll know exactly where you stand throughout the year. Next piece in the dashboard is going to be this week's goals. And so you can see exactly where you stand this week, Right now, I've made 24 contacts. I should be making 33, and so I need to make another 8 or 9 contacts to be able to hit my goal. I should be getting at least 4 leads a week. I'm only gotten 2. I can see my prospecting days and my prospecting hours, all based on the goals that I set. And finally, probably my favorite piece about this, the one that I always look at, and that is the global leaderboard. And so if you're on a team, you'll have a team leaderboard, but you also have a global leaderboard. And so you're able to see what are the other agents doing and where they're at. So this is really great because it allows you to compete. As you know, prospecting can be a lonely game. And so the leaderboard is just a fun place to come and compete with other agents. And now what you'll see here is the XP is scored not just based on the volume that you close, it's based on contacts, leads, appointments set, met, deal, closed deal, and then the 3-day and 7-day streaks. So the goal here is to reward agents, right? Like you may not close the most amount, but if you're doing the most amount of prospecting, you're going to be high up on the leaderboard because we're looking to focus on the inputs that lead to commission checks. So the next tab you're going to see here is the metrics tab. Now this is going to give you a snapshot of where you're at month to date, year to date, last month, last 6 months, and then a custom date range that you can put in. And so if I just look at the last 6 months, I can see that I've closed about 5.5 million. There's my GCI closed average deal price, which is really important. It's around 630, so I'm not far off. What I put is 650. My commission rate's 3%. And I can look in my hours, contacts, leads. I can see all of these things, whether or not I'm hitting my goals. And then I can look at my conversion health. And so based on the goals that I set, right, my target for contact to lead is 12%. Right now I'm at 15.2, so I'm a little bit higher than that. What I recommend is that after 6 months or so of logging is that you actually update your conversion rates because these will be a lot more accurate as to where you actually stand. And then you can look obviously year to date as well. And then finally on this bar, you've got achievements. And so you can see the Ascent is when you hit your weekly goals, Summit is when you close 1 deal per month, and Trailblazer is when you exceed your met to sign conversion goals. So you're able to hit these different achievements inside the metrics tab. The next piece you'll see is this plus button. This is super simple. And again, this works on both a computer and mobile. But essentially all you're going to do is after you prospect, you're going to log 3 simple numbers: hours, leads. That's it. All right. And I'll show you, say, well, what if I set an appointment? I'm going to show you that in a second. But when you prospect, hours, contacts, leads, and you can pull that in right from your dialer that you're using. The next piece of the puzzle is going to be the pipeline. Okay. Now, what you're going to see here is lead, set, met, signed, closed, and archived. So there's a couple of ways that you can add in a lead to AscendR. The simplest way to do it is to hit new, and then you can put the name, address, buyer or seller, where the deal source came from. Let's say it expired, 400,000. And commission rate is 3. Now, you don't have to put in their you don't have to put their phone number, email, anything like that. Just put in their name, boom, add new deal, done. Now you're going to see them in the lead form. Now, when you set an appointment with them, you're going to update the status and key date to set. You can put in the date. You can do met, signed, and closed. Okay, and you can update them through your pipeline as such. Now, what you'll notice is that when I updated this lead, all of a sudden my pipeline GCI went up. The other way to update your pipeline that I really love is that if you have Follow Up Boss, now you don't need Follow Up Boss to use AscendR, but if you have Follow Up Boss, all you'll do is go into Follow Up Boss. When you have a lead you want to put into here, which for me, I do it after I set an appointment with them, you'll just simply tag the lead AscendR seller and you'll hit this button called Sync with Follow Up Boss. And essentially there's an API integration that I made with Follow Up Boss that allows you to add a lead directly in to Follow Up Boss. And then finally, you'll see here the settings tab. And so this is just where you can update your leaderboard name. There is a dark mode and a light mode if you prefer a light mode. I'm a big fan of the dark mode, to be honest with you. And so I would just probably leave it on that. You can hide the leaderboard. Let's say it's bad for your mental health. You can hide that. You can set financial goals. This is where essentially you would update your metrics that you put in. So your financial goals, the conversion rates, and then finally just an account management where you can, if you needed to manage contact support and things like that. And so in a nutshell, AscendR is a whole lot more than just a simple spreadsheet. It's been a ton of fun to make this, especially with other agents and getting their feedback. And we're still constantly looking for updates and ways that we can improve. One of the big ways is a team leaderboard. And if you are a team leader watching this, I would highly encourage you to watch this video here where I'm going to show you the team dashboard so that you're able, if you're a team or a coach or a brokerage, you're able to essentially look at your entire team roster and see how everyone's doing.